The HomeTech podcast is supported by you. To find out more, go to HomeTech.fm/support. This is the HomeTech podcast for Friday, August 14th. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
And from Denver, Colorado, I'm Jason Griffin. How you doing, Seth?
Pretty good, pretty good. You sound tired, man.
I'm beat. Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm not built for the late nights anymore, Seth. I know you're kind of a night owl. Not me. Definitely not. And we had a overnight launch last night at One Vision. We have made a big investment. I won't belabor all the details, but we have been sort of bursting at the seams with our contact center tech stack, basically. And as you know, providing tech support to clients in the industry is a major component of what we do. And so we've needed to make a big investment to sort of pave the way for our next 5 years or more of growth. And last night, we ripped the Band-Aid off. We switched everything over to our new platform, and everything went smoothly, I'm happy to say. Today was our first day live. Everybody did a great job, but I've been going pretty much without a break since midnight last night. I had caught a little bit of sleep in there, but I can't do it anymore, man. I used to be able to do the late night thing, and it catches up with me quick.
See, this is a self-inflicted wound, Jason. Like, you got to learn from a pro here. You flip the switch during production, like you got to flip that switch like during peak. You know, that's how you find out.
Just live on the edge.
Live on the edge, man. That's right. That's how you separate the
men from the boys.
Men from the boys. Yeah. No, it sounds like a big project.
Yeah, it's scary, man. Anytime you got to do one of those big transitions, it's a big deal, and you do all the prep you can, but when it comes down to the 11th hour, you never feel 100% comfortable. But the team really banded together. We made the leap, and now we've got a really, really robust solution in place that we feel like, again, really, really paves the way for a lot of growth. Yeah. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, I have one of those switch stories. It's kind of funny. Like, my wife is like, we bought some paint for the house, and we bought too much. She's like, oh, can you bring this back? They said it was no problem to take it back. It's just white paint, not tinted or anything. So she's like, can you take this back to the paint store down the street? I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll do that. It'll take like 5 minutes. I'll be there, there and back in no time. And so I get out there, and I bring in this, box of 2 cans of paint. I'm like, I need to return this. And like 3 people had this like deer in the headlight look, like, oh God, what do we do? And I'm like, this isn't right. Well, it turns out 6:30 in the morning, they had done what you just did and switched over their entire system to this new way of like checking people out. And of course, we had checked out on the old system. It involved like, this is the new system. So how are you going to check out on the old system and get a return on the new system? And it involved like a phone call and me just standing around staring at, paint cans for literally watching paint dry, I guess is what I was doing for a little while at the paint store. So a lot of fun.
Good times. Yeah. Someone's always going to get caught up in the transition.
I was
right?
first.
But
I was first.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall really happy with how it went. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's really good. That's it. Especially you all the prep work and everything does pay off if you put it all in.
Yeah, it's a big deal. But those kind of changes are they're scary, but they're fun too. Like the way they bring the team together, and I was just commenting to some coworkers leading up to this that, not to sound too melodramatic here, but like you do only get a few times in your career where you're part of such a big transition. I mean, this is like a foundational element of the company, and it's the kind of change that you gotta at some point flip a switch and go. You can't sort of gradually ease into it, right? And those opportunities only come every so often, and the way they kind of bring people together and you sort of rally, you get this very singular sense of purpose and motivation and camaraderie as part of it. So not to wax too philosophical here, but it's been a really fun journey to be a part of, and the team is really, we're here at the end of our first day live with the platform, and there's a ton of sort of virtual back patting going on in Slack, and everybody's kind of celebrating a big victory. We all worked really hard, so that's always a fun thing.
Oh yeah,
to be a part of,
and you get a nice shiny new toy to play with, right? Because
that's right.
Yeah, that's
it.
That's what we're here for. That's what this whole show is about.
Exactly. So good stuff.
Yep. Well, Jason, what do you say we jump into some HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it. As part of its 10th anniversary celebration, Xiaomi revealed a transparent TV, the Mi TV Lux OLED Transparent Edition. When it's turned off, the display looks like a piece of glass. When it's turned on, images appear to float in thin air, or so Xiaomi says. The 55-inch transparent OLED panel is likely based on LG's 55-inch transparent 55EW5TF, has the same refresh rate, 10-bit color depth, and 1 millisecond response time. So kind of a fun technology, Seth. We've seen this at trade shows before. I know we've talked about this, I think, after the last CEDIA. And this OLED technology where when it's off, it can go clear, I just still think is so cool. Not super practical, maybe, but really neat.
Yeah, not at... Oh, this isn't actually that bad. $77,200 is what it says. Goes on sale in China.
Unfortunately, the catch here is, according to Engadget at least, that this goes on sale in China on August 16th. But according, again, to Engadget, it is unlikely that we will see this panel for sale outside of Asia.
Yeah. I wonder how they're doing the transparency thing, because that's like a whole other layer that our TVs don't really have. Like, that's an alpha channel, and our TVs are like, well, assuming all the time that there's some kind of pixel in that area. So either turned on or turned off. It's really strange, but kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, it's cool picture. We'll have a link up to this in the show notes, or you can Google and find it. And again, just kind of a neat technology to nerd out on, even if it's not super practical.
Yeah, somebody's going to get this and like make a window out of it.
That's right.
Put it in the front of their store or something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you see this in commercial sort of displays occasionally, for sure.
Well, if you're a big fan of nostalgia and can stand the pungent whiff of the old video store, then how about spending the night in the last Blockbuster store on the planet? The offer comes courtesy of Airbnb, which has teamed up with a store in Bend, Oregon, to offer three one-night stays. Sorry, not 3-night. God. Each up to 4 people on September 18th, 19th, and 20th. The listing goes live at 1 p.m. August 17th through for this particular offer. Only residents of, okay, now you had Xiaomi. I've got this Dutchess County, I guess. Deschutes, okay.
I got you, Seth.
There we go, thanks. Where the store is located are invited to book. Sounds fun, but I don't know. I don't want to hang out crazy. In a Blockbuster.
Yeah, this is totally just, somebody with probably some money to burn. I would imagine this. People are going to, I don't know what the price is going to be on this, but if they're only doing a few nights and it's getting press like this, probably turn into like a bidding war here. But anyways, I thought it was kind of funny, especially that first line, can stand the pungent whiff of an old video store. And I got to tell you, when I read that line, I was literally like transported back to a video store. I forgot about that smell, but I think probably a lot of people listening, assuming you're old enough, will remember exactly what they're referring to. And there's such a distinct smell. The other thing I thought was interesting, Seth, I don't know if you saw this. It went pretty viral. Blockbuster had a tweet. This was August 11th, so yesterday as we're recording. And they came and it just said, just checking in, with the little wave symbol. and it went viral, and it came across my feed, and I looked, and they hadn't sent a tweet since like 2014. And they sent this random tweet that was just checking in. It had a little wave emoji, and people went nuts. I mean, it got like almost 1 million likes. There was just comments out the wazoo that were hysterical. So you can Google this and go find it. And then the funny thing was, about 8 hours later, they sent out another tweet that was like, I think it said, okay, we've seen enough, we're leaving now, or something like that. And then the replies to that tweet were even funnier, because everyone's like, no, don't go, so I'm not sure what was going on or if they've tweeted since then. Also don't know if there's any relationship between this story we just read and their tweet the other day, but it was really random and pretty funny. The replies to the tweet were hilarious.
Yeah, I did see that float by, I think actually from you, following you on Twitter, but yeah, it was pretty good. I wonder if somebody just found the Twitter login and was like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
and then their phone
wonder.
explodes for the next, 3 or 4 hours.
It was pretty funny. So the random things you see on Twitter. Yeah. But anyways, Blockbuster sighting. There you have it. Market saturation? No way. According to the Home Automation Ownership Usage Report from NPD Group's Connected Intelligence, just 35% of consumers report that they own at least one type of smart device. NPD defines a smart home device as a security camera, baby monitor, that's an interesting choice, smart lighting, systems controllers, smart locks, doorbells, garage door openers, smart power, sensors, item trackers, not sure what that is.
Like a tile, I guess.
And okay, yeah. Home automation kits, and these are what across a portfolio of products. So again, 35%. And I don't know, Seth, I got to tell you, when I read the story, on one hand, I was like, just 35%? Or is it like, wow, 35%? It's weird, right? Like, what is that good or bad? I don't know. And it kind of harkens back to the conversation we had, I think, on our last episode about where are we in sort of the smart home adoption curve.
Right. I think if you take out baby monitors and tile trackers, which I have no idea why those are in there, the number would be significantly lower. Why are they including baby monitors in this? That's not a smart home device.
that one doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, the rest of the stuff, give us the numbers on that. Take out baby monitors and tile trackers. And yeah, I mean, it does harken back. When I read this, I was like, oh yeah, I mean, this is 35% seems a little high, but then again, that kind of tells you like we are still in that early adoption phase. We're heading up that curve, right? Like it's a curve. It goes up and you get like all the way to the top peak. And it's where it's like, okay, it's mainstay. And then like you have like that, the valley there where it drops off on the other side where basically Luddites are the only ones left that don't have smart home technology. So like we've
savages.
Yeah, exactly. We've got to go up and, up that curve first. And it's a long way up. And I think everybody wants it to be like exponential growth, but I just don't see that. Not until it's easier and works. I'm always when I see this, I'm always reminded of that story we read, and I have to go back and dig it up. It was just a survey of people who had bought smart home product, put it in their house, and said this isn't what I was promised, and took it out. Like, and it was staggering, like how many people had done that, because it's not what they were promised. Like, it's not a smart home. It's like technology that adds frustration to their lives for whatever reason, like managing lighting scenes and all that stuff. It's harder to use than a regular light switch, so they don't want it. They pull it out. So
yeah,
when you can't turn your lights on and off, you have to use the app. I use the app, turn the light off. That's not smart home.
Doesn't fly in most homes.
No.
Says this report draws from a biannual home automation ownership and usage survey, last fielded from January 6th through January 23rd. Anyways, 5,000, just over 5,000 consumers surveyed here. One other thing I thought was worth noting in this story says a report found that ownership rates vary greatly by the type of device. Security cameras currently lead the pack as the most popular, owned by 15% of consumers. Then you've got smart doorbells up there as well. And then they said categories outside of security are attracting far less attention. So I'm not shocked to hear that. I know that you hear that thrown around, and that's certainly true anecdotally from what I've seen for people who aren't really enthused by the smart home but might have something in their house. It's almost always something around security, especially if you lump doorbell cameras into security. That's a huge one. Those are everywhere now.
It's everywhere.
So not surprised by that.
I'm outside walking in my neighborhood, and I'll hear I'm like coming from somewhere. I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah.
It seems like
I noticed that
outside.
last Halloween when we were out trick-or-treating. I remember commenting to my wife, I was like, so many of these homes have Ring. And it wasn't even just smart doorbells. It was like Ring. Ring seems to really be dominating that market. I'm curious what their market share is relative basically to everyone else doing smart doorbells, because I can tell you in our neighborhood, it's totally dominant.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, I would say, I guess it's the one I noticed the most. I've actually on my block seen maybe like, what is it? I want to say one was called Skybell or something like that. It was like the round one. It was fairly popular a couple of years back, but I noticed that somebody actually had one of those and not a Ring doorbell, as I was walking up and down the street one day. But by far and away, the Ring one are the ones that you hear or see everywhere. I mean, they're pretty ubiquitous. I even see them on businesses out there. You know, like they pop up because they're easy to install and they work. So
Right. Well, now they're owned by Amazon, so
Yeah.
the distribution is just
front page and everything.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's not even fair at this point.
Well, it's not like Google didn't warn us. Google's Play Music will officially shut down at the end of the year. If you're wondering what this means for you, your music collection, and your future streaming needs, don't worry. There's still lots of time, and there's no shortage of options. This was all announced way back in April. It's just Google throwing in the towel on this. I thought this was more of like Google throwing a towel on their Play Music, but like telling everybody to like just use YouTube, right? Is that
YouTube Music
Yeah.
replacing Google Play Music,
Yeah.
right? But here's the bigger question. Do you know anyone who actually uses Google Play Music?
I mean, kind of. I mean, people who have like Google Homes in their house would use that, right?
That's true.
Yeah. And I think for a long time, I think for a long time
That's true. I mean, I use Amazon's music service now, but that's only because I have an Echo in my home.
Right.
So you're right. It's probably similar with them.
But I want to say there was a time when, and if I'm thinking, it's hard to keep up with Google and their products after they kill them off. But like, I want to say Google Play Music was one of those things way back when that you could like upload all your music to, and it would convert it to like nice music. I think Apple was doing this for a time as well. I don't really remember, but because I guess this goes into your question of, do you know anybody who uses it? And the answer is no. I don't use this. Not me. Not
I don't think
anybody
I've
in my family.
I don't think I've ever used it. Matthew in the chat room says that he did. He said mainly because I could upload all my music albums from the MP3 days. So maybe that's what you're referring to.
That's what I'm remembering.
Yeah. Man, now I'm just thinking about the giant albums full of CDs that I still have that I just don't know what to do with.
I have an entire box in our garage that I swear I'm just going to throw away because it's all CDs.
It's like one of those things though, right? Like it's so hard to bring yourself to throw them away.
Cost fallacy. Yes.
Yeah. But every time I look at them and think that, I'm like, well, no, someday I'll like upload them and I'll figure out a way to access them. There's good music in there, but yeah.
It's all on Spotify, so why bother? Actually, we ran across a couple of songs on
That's
Spotify
right.
that weren't there, and we're like, why aren't these songs? Oh, it was the on the Aladdin soundtrack. There's those Robin Williams songs, like "Never Had a Friend Like Me" or whatever. My daughter's like sitting there saying, "Play Never Had a Friend Like Me" or something, and I'm like, okay. So I go to play it, and it's grayed out. I'm like, what the heck? And Erica looked it up, and I guess Disney took him off after he died to basically, not make money off his death or something like that. But yeah, there is music that just disappears off Spotify too. So kind of weird.
Yeah. Oh, Matthew's chiming in. I forgot about this. We had Matthew on the show. I'll see if I can look up the episode number before we wrap up here. I don't have it in front of me, but he said, put NFC chips inside your CD cases and you got a whole new system.
No.
And I'm reminded I forgot he did it with DVDs. I remember that from the show. So NFC inside of the DVD. And Matthew, you'll have to chime in the chat room how you made that work with a little more detail. But there was some mechanism where the NFC chip could be waved and then a movie would tee up automatically from his server with some voodoo magic.
This is the opposite of what I need. I need to get rid of this box. I can't expand the box into more space. So there's probably 2,000 albums in those boxes over there. I know we pulled all our DVDs or our DVDs and CD collections probably because I know this because I ripped them all, probably in the 300 to 400 disc range, and it's out of control. Like it needs to go into a box somewhere. So this, which we have never listened to any of these CDs since they went into this box 3 homes ago.
3 homes ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's like a great unit of measurement for that. Like, how many different homes has this box gone through without me opening it?
Exactly.
We've got some boxes out in our garage that I know are at least at that 3 home mark.
That's one of them.
Matthew said, basically it sends an ID and plays that specific movie from Plex or Kodi.
It's a cool idea.
Or Plex/Kodi. That's a fun implementation, but I'm with you, Seth. I'm trying to purge stuff, but I just have this sneaking suspicion that like my CD collection is going to be something my kids are going to be burdened with when I'm dead and gone. I just can't seem to finally bring myself to get rid of it. I don't know what it's going to take. It's that and old hard drives.
Oh, well, that's over here.
I have this. It's like I just have this box with like old hard drives that, God only knows what's on them. And every time I look at them, I'm like, well, this thing could just disappear and I would never know any better. But yet I can't bring myself to physically take it to a recycling place.
Right. And they will data rot over time too. When you do eventually plug them in and your system goes,
it's not even going to work.
There's no data that I can recover from this. Then yeah, it's a moot point at that point. But yeah, I've done that. Greg is mentioning using the drill press method to finally eliminate those. I've done that before. I actually had to do that for a job. But I've
about
done that
20 of them a week ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's a good way to do it. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yep. Well, I've got 2 over there that my wife swears have files from her school. Like, this is college days, so that's probably 10 homes ago, right? So like, she swears there's files on there that we didn't like back up over time. Like, there's a NAS drive in here with all those files on it, I think, but there's more stuff on there potentially that needs to go on there. And like, it's the IDE hard drives. It's not even anything I have a computer for these days. I'd have to get the little adapter for $30 and then spend time digging through all these files. I just haven't done it. So, and it may not work because when you plug it in, they typically, it's a Maxtor hard drive. I think that company's out of business because they made like garbage hard drives. So.
Yeah. It's funny. Robert says Marie Kondo is having a heart attack right now.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to come
Yes.
to put her in my garage. She would just, I think she would, yeah, that'd be the poor lady.
The hard drives and the CDs most definitely do not bring me joy. That's a hard no. All right. Well, all the links we've talked about here on this week's episode can be found in our show notes at HomeTech.fm/315. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for our weekly newsletter. We'll send you show reminders and other occasional updates about all the great things going on here in the world of home tech.
And don't forget, you can join us in the chat room live Wednesdays starting sometime between 7 and 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You can find out more about how to do that at HomeTech.fm/live.
All right, Seth. I understand you got a pick of the week this week.
Oh, I do. I posted this in the hub a little bit a while ago, so they have a preview. But Jason, I ran across this real estate listing on a Facebook group, and it has one of the most beautiful homes I think I've ever seen. There is
amazing.
I don't know how to describe this. This is someone's man cave, and I'm gonna pin this on a dealer. I'm just gonna say this is a dealer that did this, because no one in their right mind would have. Now, let me count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 2. That's 16 subwoofers. They have dual tower, well, maybe even 3 towers per each channel of their surround sound. So there's 3 surround sound speakers for each.
This is
channel.
So epic.
There's 3 TVs mounted across the top of one large TV that has 2 center channels below it, and then at the very top there's a center channel aimed down from the top of the center. It's hard to describe this, and it's all you can see the Macintosh or Macintosh.
Yeah, you got some Macintosh amps. Yeah.
And there's a whole drive rack behind all this mess. This is something crazy. Now I'm glad they put in the acoustic panels. I think that's going to help them a lot.
I see those. I didn't even catch that. That's funny.
Interesting room.
Yeah, somebody definitely likes audio. I love the zoomed up picture I think you included in here of the remote on the coffee table.
Oh yeah. I think what happened there is like there was a coffee table full of remotes, and even the real estate agent was like, no, we can't do this. We
don't do it.
We got to clean this up. And they just left like a random TV remote is what it looks like, a Samsung remote or something.
Man, this is crazy. This reminds me of a project that I worked on once in my integration days out in Santa Monica was where the home was. And it wasn't anywhere near this extensive in terms of the audio, but he had 4 TVs. I think it was 3 or 4 TVs, big TVs in a single room, then, rack with a surround sound audio system. And we had to program it all through Savant, which was difficult at the time. I think Savant's come a long ways since then in terms of dealing with the more custom stuff like that. But back then, Savant was pretty boilerplate.
Right.
And we made it work. But yeah, he had the ability to have different channels playing on each TV and then decide which TV he wanted the sound to track to play through his surround sound system. And that was quite a bit of work to set up and really cool once it was done. I just, looking at this house, I'm reminded of that. He's got, like you said, 4 different TVs, an ungodly number of speakers here. So yeah, you have to wonder, how is he controlling all this? And how much does his wife loathe him for when she just wants to come in and watch the news?
How much does his neighbors loathe him for having this?
And we are being a little, we're assuming this is a male.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very well decorated. I mean, it's
It is. The house looks great.
Yeah, and you can see in one of the pictures next to the dual 8-foot drive racks that they have, there is a kitchen in this home. I'm like putting up the quotes, home.
Air quotes.
Yeah, the kitchen is like off to the side. So I mean, there is a kitchen there, nice looking kitchen with stainless stuff. I mean, you have to kind of walk around one of his, or whoever's this is, like one of the 3 pairs of speakers that are this left channel, I guess, or that's your right channel, right surround channel, before you can go into the speaker, into the kitchen. So, and there's another TV in the kitchen. Wow, they've got TVs everywhere. There's a TV above the fridge.
Awesome.
Never miss a beat, literally.
Love it.
Might miss a heartbeat, but you're not going to miss any of the music. That's for sure.
Subwoofers for sale, and you get the house on the side.
Yeah, it's house free. House comes free.
That's right. Good stuff. All right. Well, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, ideas for a show topic or guest, give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form.
And we want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially help support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about our Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out on the show, but every pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather every day and talk about what seedy training videos you watched. That was going on this week.
That's the topic du jour.
Yeah.
I like it. If you're looking for other ways to support the show, we would really appreciate if you'd take a minute to leave us a positive review on iTunes or in your podcast app of choice. Those reviews definitely help more people find the show. So if you enjoy what we do here at the Home Tech Podcast, please, please, please take 2 minutes to go leave us a positive review. We would really appreciate it.
Well, Jason, got a little note down here I put up on the show board that says follow up, and I think you may know what I'm going to ask.
Oh no.
How's that new hard drive working for you?
I knew this was coming. I do have an update.
Oh.
I do have an update. It's not the update you want, Seth, but it is an update nonetheless. Robert did succeed in talking me out of the original plan of attack.
Oh, no.
However, I was able to return the version of the SSD that I bought from, what is it, Otherworld Computing?
Yeah, Max Sales. Yeah,
MaxSales.com, I think is their URL. Quick mention for them. Great service. They made it really easy for me to return it. So I always appreciate when companies do things like that.
Same
so I wanted
experience.
to just give them a shout for that. Yeah, they were really helpful with it. And I do think I'm going to go ahead and order the PCI. I'm either going to do the PCI version, which is an internal installation in the computer, but is just far easier physically to install. You don't have to take the computer apart.
Yeah,
you just pop the cover and you kind of put it in there. I'm probably going to go that route. Worst case scenario, I might do the external route that Robert recommended. But yeah, blame Robert. He scared me. He's like, man, dude, you don't take your computer apart.
We get 2 steps forward and 1 step back on the show here. That's what it is.
I'm going to do it. Don't.
Well, now that this big project's over, I'm sure you've got nothing left to do at work. So
Yeah.
that's how it goes,
You
right?
know, it's next time I'm just kind of sitting around twiddling my thumbs, looking for something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it does need to get done. I'm tempting fate. I feel like I know the hard drive on this Mac Mini its days are numbered. I can just feel it. But it's like without that urgency, I just struggle. We all have things we procrastinate on, right? This is my kryptonite.
Yeah. I think you're tempting fate, but also I think you're missing out on enjoying that little computer that you use for our podcast and only our podcast. It will be, I swear to you, it will be a transformative thing when you actually get it set
I have
up.
no doubt.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that it will. That is the problem, is I only use this Mac Mini for podcasting. And so I've got a great laptop that I use for work and everything else. And yeah, I'm telling you, if I had to use this Mac Mini for my daily computer, this hard drive would have been put in like probably a year and a half ago.
Right.
But
well, I hate to say I'm almost in the same boat as you. My work computer needs to go in for service, right? And it's the battery, which it's always plugged in here on the desk. So I'm like, I don't really care, But
right.
It's kind of like at the point where the battery, I think it's swelling, because if you set it on a desk, it kind of rocks around a little bit.
Yeah.
So
that's not a good sign.
It needs to go to service. And I've already got it all set up. It's just like I've got to be down for a couple of days because of COVID and everything. It's just like there's no turnaround instantly. It takes 3 or 4 days. And I have a terabyte drive that I've been like backing up to and making a bootable copy, just exactly what you should be doing right now. I have it sitting on my desk, but the problem is like, I should do this on like Sunday and like bring that thing in on Monday, because that's going to be the fastest turnaround for Apple's Depot. And I keep putting it off. So yeah, procrastination.
Sunday comes and Sunday goes.
Well.
Yep.
Yep.
I hear you. It's one of those things, but I'm going to get it done, Seth, sooner or later.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Robert. You can go buy a replacement computer from Apple. You can carbon copy cloner over to reload it. And then Apple has a very generous 14-day return period, which I've actually used this method that you are outlining before. So I'm already guilty of the Apple rent program to repair and send back a computer and then get another one. 14 days, that's all you have.
Anthony says, not until it dies, it seems, in response to my comment about I will get it done eventually.
Yeah. There's
we'll see. Like living on the edge.
It's going to be too late.
We're living on the edge here. All right, Seth. Well, I think that does it for this week. Short episode. I am going to go eat some dinner, get the kids to bed, and then sleep for like 10 hours.
I swear you were about to say go sit down and mark and draw in a book. I thought you were going to say that, but yeah, sleep sounds good.
Or replace my hard drive.
You could be like that. No, that's actually something I would not recommend you do on little sleep. So get rested. Be rested for it. You want to make sound decisions.
Yeah.
Follow instructions.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be debasing any books tonight.
All right. Well,
too tired for that.
Get some rest, Jason.
All right, man. Have a good weekend.
You too.
We'll talk to you soon.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Take care.